Well, it's Sunday afternoon and I've got a few hours and I'm gonna start stitch welding this firewall in. So let's get to it. Everything is stitch welded in now. That is on the car as far as the panels. I tried to go around and evenly measure all the stitches, but where I had tacked it together was kind of in odd locations, plus the panels being different sizes. So I just eyeballed it all the way around and matched where the stitches were, you know, for each side of the tube or each panel across from each other. So it looks pretty uniform. I'm happy with it. I'm still not super proficient at flowing silicon bronze, especially I can do it if I'm in a really good welding position, but like the tubes across the top, you know, it looks, you know, great. But whenever you're getting down there towards the bottom, or you're in a position where you have to switch hands or get really, really uncomfortable and awkward, I just can't hit it sometimes. There were a couple of these that it tried to ball up on me a little bit, and I just, you know, knock it off with the sander and start over. But just stuff you have to work through. Like I said, we don't do a ton of sheet metal, so silicon bronze is not something I pick up hardly ever. But we'll get there. So the ending of this video will probably be this Friday whenever we finish up the firewall. I feel confident that we can have the pieces pretty well finished up by lunchtime, and then after lunch I'll finish welding it together, and then hopefully Saturday morning I will be putting the engine back in this thing for the rest of the turbo mock-up and all that, and then we'll move to the inside. I actually ordered the stuff for the Lexan on the door frames or the window frames. I ordered all that over the weekend, ordered the transmission blanket over the weekend. I know that's one of the last things I'm gonna need, but they say it won't ship until the middle of March from Stroud, so trying to stay ahead of things. But I guess that's it. We'll pick up where we left off here Friday. We have got the firewall complete now. We all jumped on it for a little bit yesterday. Got caught up with some things and we're waiting to start some others, and we just decided to stay busy and get this firewall finished. I'm going to throw some black primer on the firewall, that way it don't try to flash rust while we're finishing the thing up. Also had Cody make some templates for the windows. That's what these little rods are here, is like a stop for the cardboard to get it spaced out where it needs to be. Done that all the way around, and also done it on the doors. One of the templates is still in here. It'll basically be that. Obviously it'll have a split right here where the quarter window is, but we thought it would be better just to make a template for the whole entire hole and then figure out the split after the piece of Lexan is cut out instead of trying to do two separate pieces and get a straight line and stuff. So what we're going to do is use this Lexan. We've got a whole sheet, and this piece will be the mock-up for the rear, obviously, but we'll also cut these out so we can go ahead and make the window frames, get the door latches in and all that stuff. And then I've got the optic armor, the super dark tinted stuff ordered through Tick Performance, and we're gonna replace this and the side windows with that whenever that comes in. We also have a windshield ordered. Believe it or not, they make an OEM fitted window in optic armor for this, so that's not something we're gonna have to make from scratch. I didn't really know they offered that, and I started digging, and a couple of the Datsun websites had it listed. So because Tick's optic armor dealer, I had them call and get the part number and stuff and just get everything through them. So that's what's going on. One thing I thought about last night when I went to bed was getting those pedals off now. I hope I didn't screw myself on that, because one of the bolts that hold the pedal assembly on is right there. And I'm hoping I can get my hand in there to get the thing off. That was one of the things that I didn't really think through before I closed the firewall in, but I think I can get my hand up in there. I gotta crawl up in there and see, but let's get to work. Looks good with some primer on it. Remember, we just put that on there just to keep it from flash rusting while the mock-up process continues. So now we're ready to put the motor in. So we struggled just a little bit getting the engine back in. The valley cover, the mock-up block I used originally, and this motor when it was in, it didn't have the valley cover on it, but the valley cover from Plasma Man sticks out a little bit out the rear of the motor. So it was hitting the mid plate. So I actually had to grind the mid plate just a little bit the way we've got it set up, and I put just a slight bevel on the back or on the underside of the valley cover, and it went right in at that point. We also had to make the holes for the dowel pins just a little bit bigger in the mid plate, because again, the ones I was using was just worn out junk I found in the back room and wasn't nice new adequate size dowel pins. So just a few little hiccups like that, but we got it in, and check it out. So we have not seen this sight since about a year. The motor has not been sitting in the chassis. and that long. But looks nice and neat now with the firewall complete. After further checking some stuff, I did find out that the drive shaft is going to be like an inch too short, which really sucks because I've got two drive shafts that are that length, and there ain't really anything that can be done about it but just get another one made. I guess they can use my yokes and stuff, but both shafts will have to be remade. I always carry a backup Molly shaft with the carbon just in case one tries to spin on the inside or something like that. But with the 9-inch rear, the pinion is actually a little bit shorter, a little bit more compact than the 8.8 that was in it. Tomorrow, I guess I'll probably conclude this video today, or I might just let tomorrow's progress go on with this video and just do one for this week. But we got a plan for the back to fill this stuff in. Probably not going to do standard wheel tubs just because my bar layout is going to make it really weird. So I think we're just going to do panels. Maybe come up here, break over, and do a carbon panel all the way down on both sides, and that'll make it to where we can close the entire rear of the car off in about 5 pieces total. That includes the little quarter pieces and everything. And then we're going to do sheet metal we're going to weld in front of the tires here in these little square areas, and obviously maybe in the middle there. So also found out after putting the motor in that I had put the drive shaft tunnel just a little bit off center of the drive shaft, which doesn't really matter because I really wasn't happy with the way I done it. I mean, it come out good, this part, but I don't like dropping them over these little stubs with the pins. It makes it really tough, and I've sanded and sanded and sanded, and it's still not enough to go on and off super smooth with zero effort. So I'm going to cut those stubs off, clean all those tubes back up, and I'm going to order some clevises that have a clevis here and here with a single pin, and then I'm going to enclose the tunnel all the way to here, and I'm going to have 2 clevis connections here and here, and that way it'll encase the drive shaft all the way back. I don't have to worry about doing any kind of filler panels or anything behind where this one stops. So anytime a build takes this long and you don't just freight train through the thing, you have a lot of hindsight, and I'm trying not to have too much. I'm trying just to get it done, but the more I look at things, the more I just see issues I might have in the future, and I want to go ahead and remedy them now. But I'm just excited that the motor and everything is back in it, because it really looks awesome. So we'll see what tomorrow holds. Got the rear tires off, got it up on the jacks. Did a little time lapse on welding the tabs for the Pro jacks under the 4-link brackets. That was a waste of time, because you see, I didn't consider the wishbone attachment, and the cross member came down lower than the actual tabs were. So when you jack the jack up, it hits it actually hits the tab for the wishbone and won't let it go up. So what we did, we just flipped the jacks around and put them on the bottom of the frame, and worked out good. It's not quite as stable. When it's like that, you can still wiggle it a good bit, but it still works out really good. Because with the 29.5s on this thing, they just barely fit, and you have to drop the rear down. You have to take the wishbone loose and push the rear to one side just to get the tire out of the hole. Even though we're not going to be running that tire size, I wanted to make sure I could fit a tire that big with the way everything's laid out. So we got the tires off, and we're going to actually mount the 28-inch radials that we're going to be running on these. So let's get them mounted up, and then we're going to start working on the rear sheet metal stuff. see on the time lapse, I made this little panel for this side, which worked out great. Got it taped in there, ready to weld. I actually made another one because I thought, well, this side's pretty close. I can just mirror it and flip it around, but I see what Joey was talking about yesterday at the end of the day now about this tube and this tube getting in the way of the bend. So since I already made it, I just cut some random holes in it and held it up there and seen if maybe that would work. But it would work, but how many panels are you going to make before you get the clearance just perfect? So probably not going to go down that road. Just make it 2-piece and be done with it. So that's pretty much all I got done this morning. I had some friends from high school stop by. We got to talking. I got up here really late anyway, and now I need to go home and take care of some other stuff. The carbon, we got it kind of our idea laid out. It's going to come up here and break over and go down there and just stay right up to the bottom of the window all the way down. The reason why we're not using tubs is they would need to come all the way up to this bar, but the radius is going to be high. So that means you would have to cut the tub somewhere right in there. Well, if you cut it there, your distance from here to here would be about right there. So you've not got enough wheel opening at that point to use the tub. And if you scoot the tub back and center it over your wheel opening, then you're having to do a bunch of patch panels and stuff up here to get the gaps closed up. So just going to end up not using them and just use flat sheet because it's going to be easier to deal with and come out better in the end. So these back panels are what we're freight training on now. It's just trying to get all this back stuff closed in and done. Then probably work on the door frames or the window frames in between. You can see we've got little things here. I've said something already in the video about it, but get those framed up. We've got the Lexan on the way. The real Lexan is on the way, but we got Lexan here we're going to use as templates. I still got to figure out this turbo kit deal. Not going to do upswept headers because we don't have enough room right here. There's not enough room between the hood and where the header would be to even clear it anyway, because the hood comes down and starts rolling down. It barely misses the intake, and you see there's not enough room for a header to come through there. So got to figure out what I'm going to do with that. I got a pretty good idea, but we'll see. Just got to try to get everything mocked up and get it laid out where we can finish putting all the other stuff. Still got to mount coils, still got to do, I don't know if the fuel filter is going to go there or not, but it might. We got the system one, or not the system one, that's the system one, but the Clearview oil filter, we got to mount it somewhere. I can't remember if I even had it mounted on the car before in any location, but I need to get all that stuff out here, get it all under here, know what I'm gonna have to work with, and just have it all in front of me where I can consider all of it and not forget anything. Because there's stuff over in that cabinet that I don't even remember what all I've got for this thing. I've got it all in the file in there, but visually I can't remember all the stuff. The drive shaft tunnel, going to change that. I don't think I've already said something about it, but I'll say it again. Ordered a chromoly rolled piece that goes from here all the way to here, the full 20 inches. So that'll completely enclose the drive shaft. Going to get rid of these stupid little stubs here that's aggravating to get off, and do the clevis style that's a lot easier to get on and off. Bought the 5-inch hub extender for the steering wheel. Going to shorten this where it's easy to get in and out of the car. This we wasn't really thinking when we done this, and it's kind of hard to get in and out with this thing sticking so far out. Still don't know what we're going to do about the transmission, closing in the bottom of that, but the ballistics blanket did come and it fits awesome. This is actually for a G-force transmission. It is the Stroud 514 is the part number, but fits the T56 perfect. Yeah, it's got some holes, but these transmissions usually blow out the bottom. So, I mean, it feels like it would stop something. It feels like a bulletproof vest, but fits the transmission perfectly as far as in between the shifter and right behind the front plate here. So that's going to work out good, since we're going to have the transmission exposed like a Pro Mod inside the car without a tunnel. That's pretty much it for the updates. I know we worked on the car some off and on this week during the week, because Stephen Rankins was here doing some Motec stuff for Rusty's car that we're trying to get wrapped up, and we had to be really close, and you can see it's there and we're here. So it was just convenient to kind of just hang out here and work with him and put some time in on this. So we got a busy week ahead of us. We got a couple major things we got to get done. And if we have any time in between the week, we'll jump back on the Datsun and try to take care of some little things. And then we'll get back on it hardcore Friday, which I don't even know at this point, because I think I'm going to have to be out Friday for an appointment. So I don't know how much I'll be here Friday. So we'll see. But follow the channel, keep up with the updates. I'm going to upload weekly on this race car just because it keeps me motivated. You guys hold me accountable to get this thing done. So subscribe, and I'll see you next video.